Hi guys, welcome to ELI, the place where you get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Miss Drishti Bagla, who is the founder of Cricket Unplugged, a platform where they publish stories, news, and facts on cricket. Drishti has attended a Young India Fellowship program by Ashoka University. Drishti has worked for 2 years at KPMG India before starting her own venture called Cricket Unplugged. So, hi Drishti, welcome to Entrepreneur Launch of India.
Hello, hi. Thank you for having me here.
Drishti, would you mind introducing yourself to our audience?
Okay, so I am a Delhi based girl born and brought up here. I completed my bachelor's in commerce. Post that, I worked for KPMG for a couple of years in their risk consulting department. Then I went to pursue my master's in liberal arts. The course was Young India Fellowship, which was probably the best decision of my life so far.
Hmm.
The course ended in June, and that was exactly the same time when I started with Cricket Unplugged, which is, as you mentioned, a platform where we seek to bring in unheard stories, interesting facts,
Mm-hmm.
and news update about the world of cricket.
Right. Uh, so, uh, tell us a bit more about what kind of stories you publish on Cricket Unplugged, and how do you publish them as a video or as a image? How is it?
Okay, so we have a platform on LinkedIn
Okay.
and on Instagram. The kind of format we follow is the LinkedIn format, wherein we focus on a short, crisp, crisp story which can be covered under 200 words. So
Okay.
that is the format we follow.
Mm.
We actually put in a lot of effort in researching the stories, and then we also have a mandatory thing to make an image with that, because a story does not itself attract the entire
Audience.
uh,
Right.
audience. So we also emphasize on the graphical representation of it,
Mm.
along with the quality of the content.
Right. So, uh, so when did you think of becoming an entrepreneur, starting a journey of your own with your own venture?
Okay, so while I was pursuing this course, Young India Fellowship, there were a couple of courses that happened in the month of January that actually changed my mindset. So sports has always been my passion, but I could not actually play. So the one thing that I learned from there was, if there is some time to pursue passion, it is now. Because if you keep waiting for the right opportunity to come, it will never come. So that's how I learned that maybe this is the time where I can actually work
Mm.
in the sports industry.
Okay.
But I wanted to do something of my own rather than taking a job with the sports
Mm.
company that is actually reputed and established. So content was something that I thought has as a market, and content is something that actually people require. So why not start with publishing content? And this was actually my passion project. When I started it, I did not have a- anything to think of how will I earn the money, and when will it become a monetizable venture. And still it is my passion that is actually making me work every day for this. So yeah, that's how the journey started, because of the couple of course in my masters that actually pushed me into pursuing my passion.
Nice. Uh, that is a interesting story. Would like to know how did your family react to it uh, when they got to know that you are going to start something of your own. Also, you have worked for reputed companies like KPMG. So, how did they respond to it? Did they support you?
Yes. So my family and my friends have always been supportive of what I have to take up in life. Even the 1 year course, that was also something that not everyone takes up because it's not a con- conventional masters. So my family was supportive then, and my family was supportive even now because they do not have any undue expectations that you have to become this and do that and all of those things. And even now, if I'm working for Cricket Unplugged 8 at night, so my family is completely understanding.
Mm.
So family support is actually the most important thing if you have to pursue something that you're passionate about.
Right. So your family has been very supportive of you. Great to hear that. Did you have the financial runway to pursue your venture? For example, when you start a new company or something, it requires some financial investment as well. Also, for your survival during that period, money is required. How did you manage it?
Okay, so currently the financial expenses are not so big. Like the only expenses that we've had so far has been on digital marketing,
Okay.
and because also I had some kind of a savings in the past, so that stock is actually being used up right now. If
Mhm.
in future we require extensive funds, then the first thing that I'll do is obviously take a loan from my dad, and then and I'll see how it goes because uh, like I've said, my family has been supportive of this venture. So definitely the first funding or the first expenses that would be an incurred would be from the family income itself.
Hmm. Right. Uh, how long you have been doing your venture?
So we started on June 1st, and before that, it took month or so to actually strategize and research as to
Hmm.
what kind of things we have to publish, what is that one sport that we have to take up, and how do we have to go about it. So we went live on June 1.
Right.
We will be completing our 2 month anniversary in the next 6 days, 7 days, and the response has been really good so far.
How were your initial days? What was the first thing you did, and how you just got started?
So I am a kind of a person who is actually scared of doing something of their own. So the first major step that I had to take was to pre- prepare myself to actually take this leap of faith. So that actually takes a lot of effort. But
Hmm.
once you take that effort, half of your work is actually done. Because in the first week itself, I started getting a good responses on my work. People were appreciating my work, and they were also people who were approaching me to work for me. And since I had started only, so people were actually willing to contribute to cricket and unplug without actually having on monetary gains. So in the last 50 days, we have gone from a team of 1 to a team of 7,
Okay.
and everyone is working pro bono. So that actually speaks a lot about how we are going about it, and
Hmm.
how receptive have been people about our content.
And what is your? I see a lot of your work has been into creating content. So how do you plan to monetize it in coming days? Because if it is a business venture, or any
Right,
venture for that matter, it has to have a revenue model for its survival. So how do you plan to
right.
monetize it?
What I feel right now is because we have an under 2,000 followers on Instagram. So the major aim right now is to have a very strong foundation
Hmm.
and to build a loyal fan base, because in content people can grow from here to there and here to there. So you need to have a loyal fan base before you can actually take up the next step.
Hmm.
So my current aim, or the midterm aim for the next 4 to 5 months, is to continue creating quality content and getting my content to as much people
Hmm.
as it is possible, and then maybe we can take a step into on monetizing it. Like I stated earlier, we six people are working completely out of passion, so no one is actually hurrying into making money out of it. So we are actually giving it a lot of time.
Okay.
We are taking it step by step,
Hmm.
because we don't want to compromise on thing by starting everything at once. We can do this also, that also. So that actually creates up yours. So taking it step by step, and the mid-term goal right now is to have a loyal fan base, so that we can extend on that.
Right. Uh, ba- so my next question would be how did you find your co-founders teams, the people who are working on pro bono basis? How do you scout them?
Okay, so I did not actually find any one of them. So like I said, because I started on LinkedIn, so no one actually publishes about sport on LinkedIn. So people found it really intriguing and interesting that someone has taken up the step to publish sports articles on LinkedIn. So within the first week, there were around 2 3 people who had written to me that they want to get associated with the initiative, because they think we have a lot of potential in it. It's not just we are giving content, but we are actually working hard on each and every post. So we give it a lot of thought as to what will go in, how will it go in, what kind of a picture will go with the content. So that actually takes a lot of effort, and that is actually the appreciable thing about our work. So as as I said, I did not go about looking for people, because for me this was an experimental project, because this is the first time that I'm doing something of my own.
Okay.
If you had asked me 2 months back, will you have a team of five? This was something impossible for me back then. So yeah, that's how it happened.
Interesting, very interesting indeed. uh, Based on what you have been doing so far, what is the milestone you want to achieve? What is the vision you are looking at?
Okay, so for once we have to, one of our vision is we have to give quality content, be it on Instagram, be it on Twitter, or in LinkedIn. We have to differentiate ourselves from the others, because a lot of people are writing on cricket. So we have to be one of the best log pages or websites, if you call all it, that is there in the world. So that is the long-term vision that we have in our head.
Okay. And speaking of cricket, due to COVID, I think the cricket has come to a halt. I think not many cricket games are being played right now. And so,
Right.
how has that affected you or your venture? Is it working in a positive way or a negative way for you?
That is actually working in a very positive way for us, because people are not getting any cricketing action. So the best they can do is read about the cricketing action that has happened in the past. So by bringing the stories that have happened in the past, be it a historic match, or an historic
Hmm.
inning by someone, so that way people are remaining close to the match. And now that cricket has already started, so we have also shifted our focus to giving them updates.
Hmm.
Like the England West Indies match, we were there about everything, giving them score updates and how the match is going and everything. So cricket, even if it's not there, it's working in our favor. And if it's there, still it's working in our favor. So it hasn't had any impact on us.
Right, right. Coming to my next question, what are the challenges you faced along the way and probably facing right now? And of those challenges, which were not foreseen by you?
Okay. So the most difficult thing about social media is to get people to like your content. So that will always remain a challenge, because people have become very really choosy about what they like, what they follow, and what they actually want to read. So if you are dealing in the social media business, you have to adapt to the changes. You have to analyze what kind of content people are liking, and what kind of content can you re- reduce. So that is a challenge. uh, One of the challenge that I did not foresee, uh, I'm not sure there was any, because all these things that actually encompass the social media business were actually understood by me before, or I took this leap of faith.
Mm.
So nothing as of now has come. It is unexpected to me right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Drishti, here is one question I was wanting to ask you. So, there has been multiple uh, such handles. For example, uh, Rajinikanth versus CID jokes was such a handle. Then there were multiple such handles into different areas. One would talk
Right.
about cricket. One would talk about movies. There is there's something called tried and refused production. They talk about movies. So multiple such handles are there. Uh, how do they usually monetize their content? Can you throw some light on that? I think many of our viewers, they want to become a content entrepreneur, they want to become a social media entrepreneur. So how they, I would like to know something about how they monetize such content, and if someone from our viewer wants to get into that field, they would have some knowledge on how they can monetize it.
Right. So for Instagram and for Facebook, a lot of these content makers actually become influencers. So
Okay.
by influencers, you make videos for people. By influencers, I mean that if someone comes to your page for prom- promotion, you
Mm.
give them the necessary promotion and you charge for them. That is one way of earning, because once you have a respectable number of followers, people will eventually come to you to market their service, or their product. Secondly, if you have website, so you will have to ensure that some people visit your website on a daily basis, so that you can have relevant ads on the website. So that is actually the major uh, earning income for the content makers, because the Google ads that come on your website page, that can actually make you a lot of money. So these are the two things I am also aware of right now. Yes.
Okay, right. Uh, so here comes my next question. I think we are very short of time now.
Okay.
So I'll try to make it short. Only three questions I have. How do you compare entrepreneurship with a 9 to 5 job? I think you have been to a 9 to 5 job. How do you compare both of them?
Okay. Well, actually, corporate jobs are not 9 to 5 anymore. But yeah, I related your question. So in a 9 to 5 job, you are actually fixed to a routine. You are fixed to a set of rules that you have to follow, set of work that you have to do. You do not have the freedom to explore. You do not have the freedom to take your own decision, because once you start, you actually start on the very basic level, where you're working for someone and that someone is working for someone else. In entrepreneurship, you have the liberty to experiment. That is the first thing that comes to my mind, because if something is not working for a week, then I have the freedom to make changes to it. Secondly, because you're not working for anyone, it also gives you a freedom to do what you want. So there is no one on your head pushing for deadlines. There's no one on your head pushing to follow the same kind and end of a format. So the best thing about entrepreneurship for me is the freedom that comes with it. And one thing more, because in the 9 to 5 job, you have only a particular set of tasks to do.
Okay.
But in entrepreneurship, you have to handle everything, like from A to Z. Like for me, what kind of content is going to be made, how it is going to be published, what kind of a strategy we have to use, whom do I onboard on the team, whom do I invite for or an Insta live, how do the Insta live will go. So these are the millions of tasks comes in, and that actually brings a lot of learning also. Like when I started, i I had no idea about digital marketing,
Mm.
on how to write on Instagram,
Okay.
on how to contact these cricketers and all.
Okay.
So you learn a lot. That is actually the best thing. So you
Mm.
become an
Mm.
all rounder in every department, be it HR, marketing, finance,
Mm.
everything.
Right. Uh, cool then. I think we have come to end of our session. Just one last question. how
Right.
how our audience can start their journey as an entrepreneur? How do they find a particular problem to solve, or how do they find a gap in the market and get started there? And what would be your final message to our audience, or the potential entrepreneurs of India, who would become the future founders and co-founders? So, what would your final message, and how they can start their entrepreneurial journey? I bunched the two questions together because of time constraint. You can take it as the way you like.
Right. So we don't actually have a lot of problem in coming to what we have to solve, because we are all big critiques. This is not doing well, this should would be done like that. But what we lack is the courage to take the first step. Like, why should I start something of my own? Like, who will listen to me? Who will come and work with me? How will it go? What if I fail? So the question, what if I fail, is the biggest hurdle that comes in when anyone has to start something of their own. So my advice to everyone would be to find your passion,
Mm,
and also know if you're good at it. So rather than jumping into something that you're passionate about, like if I'm passionate about singing, but I don't know anything about singing, so I can't just start something of my own. So know your passion, know that you're good at it, and also, because these things are not done on a short term basis. So you have to know that you can sustain this for a long time.
mm.
So these are the three things that you have to keep in mind. And also in the starting, when I said that you can't wait for the opportunity to come for you, you have to take the opportunity. So these are the things that I have to say to.
Was it your
Yeah.
final message or anything else you want to share?
Yes. No, no,
Okay.
that was all I had to say.
Great. I think it was a pleasure to have you here at ELI. I think our audience would have got lifetime lessons from this video. Thanks for your time, Drishti, and our best wishes for Cricket Unplugged.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Viewers, you can follow Drishti on LinkedIn by searching for Drishti Bagla. Also, you can visit Cricket Unplugged Instagram handle by typing Cricket Unplugged. So, whom do you want to have here at ELI for next episode? Do let me know in comments below. Do not forget to subscribe to our channel. We will be back before you know it. Stay tuned to Entrepreneur Launch of India.